Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Saloon Podcast. I'm your host, Mirage, and once again I am joined by none other than Burner and Mellow Sony.
Hello everybody.
Why, hello. And before we begin, why is my voice higher pitched? I was sick.
Oh yeah, that's right. Mellow, I forgot to mention that he was sick last time.
It's fine. I had allergies, but I'm better now, except for my nose. But my throat is better, so I sound a lot better. So,
yeah.
And what better time? Because we are going to be continuing our little mini Donkey Kong marathon with Tropical Freeze.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
anyway.
Yes.
But anywho, so Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze released in early 2014. I actually got that right this time. And was the next entry in, of course, the Donkey Kong Country series, and was also developed by Retro Studios, the same guys who did
Just
Returns.
like Returns. Yep.
And then in 2017, 2018, they re-released it and made it called the Funky Mode. Which...
Oh yeah, they re-released Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and on top of it, as Mello said, they added a funky mode, which includes Funky Kong. And not only that, some of the Kongs, like Donkey Kong himself, got a bit of a nose job too. Forgot to mention that minor detail, because no one else will mention it, so I'm going to mention it here. Because it's actually a pretty small detail that you might miss.
Yes.
So I figured I'd say it now.
But yeah, we're mostly going to be covering... There really isn't a lot of differences between the Wii U original and the Switch version, so we're going to be covering just the Switch version as a whole, because it is considered the definitive version of the game, but it's still very much. But if you play the game on Wii U, you're not going to get yourself doing that.
We're basically just going to be looking at... We're looking at both versions, but as one game.
Yes. So, let's say we go ahead and start us strong with talking about this game's story and how it's completely different.
Yep.
Yes.
Either one of you take it away, because I'm not as familiar with Tropical Freeze, so...
If you want, I can do it.
Alright.
Go for it.
Alright. Well, the story behind this game, it's Donkey Kong's birthday. And so Cranky, Diddy, and Dixie decide to celebrate his birthday. But a balloon flies out of, the window and goes out to shore. And a penguin notices it. And they're on a ship called the Snowmads. And with their leader, Lord Frederick, they notice Donkey Kong Island. And he uses his horn and blows his horn to commit an ice freeze, blowing Donkey Kong and his crew off of Donkey Kong Island. And so he takes it over and freezes the place all over. And so you start in a different island. And you actually start right in as soon as the cutscene ends. You start in Man Cove Cove, and I forget the actual name, but it's World 1, and you fly into a plane. And boom, game start.
Yeah.
And your end goal at the end is to beat Lord Frederick, defeat the Snowmads, and take back Donkey Kong Island. There's your story.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool, all things considered. No pun intended.
Yeah.
No pun intended. No pun intended.
What a cool pun.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat plot.
Yeah.
Like it actually, I don't think it's any more elaborate than the plot for Returns, but it's still pretty interesting nonetheless.
Plus,
You can say it's pretty frozen solid. Okay.
and before the Frozen jokes start coming in. Okay, so... But yeah, I personally do agree with this approach, because, it's not gonna be... it's a Donkey Kong game. You're not expecting something like Persona or Kingdom Hearts. so I think it works.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
No, it's something small, and for something that is small, it does so justicely, in my opinion, better than Donkey Kong Country 1.
Oh yeah, I
That's
couldn't
for
agree
sure.
more. The story definitely does the game justice. I'll say that.
Yeah.
In terms of the gameplay, though, there aren't any differences regarding the gameplay itself. Rather, we have two new playable characters this time around. Unlike Returns, where in Returns we just had Diddy and Donkey. But in Tropical Freeze, we now have the inclusion of Dixie and Cranky Kong. This is also the first game, to my knowledge, that Cranky's actually playable. So, every game prior to this one, Cranky was not a playable character.
He was
Minus spin-offs.
Oh yeah, if we're not going to include the spin-offs, then yeah, he was not playable.
Yeah.
This is
Slugger
actually...
in Mario Sluggers, I believe he was playable. Don't quote me on it, but I believe he was playable in Sluggers.
He was not.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Still, never mind. This is his first game. Freak me.
okay.
But yeah, with their inclusion, Dixie and Cranky actually changed up the platforming of this game quite a bit. Because Dixie, she isn't similar to how she controls in DKC 2 and 3. Rather, she acts like a little small jump. Whether you're by yourself or you're paired up with Donkey Kong, using Dixie will help give you a little bit of elevation while in the air. And Cranky, this might impress some of you DuckTales fans out there. He essentially has Scrooge McDuck's pogo stick.
Pogo cane, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
and it
he
lets
does.
you jump not only on baddies, but also let you jump on spikes and other hazards.
Oh yeah, you can bounce on spikes, and you're completely immune to it with his
Yes.
cane, and it's amazing.
And one thing I also like about it as well is that if you do a roll and jump and do the pogo, you keep your momentum. So, in my opinion, he's the best way to speedrun.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's
Cranky.
great. Cranky's like an old man, but despite that, you can speedrun him, and that's the
just
irony.
like DKC1, he talks about how he does things quick in his day. There you go.
Oh my god. Oh, that actually makes sense now. Holy moly. That quote actually... Oh, there's an actual canonical explanation for how you're able to speedrun with Cranky.
You're not
Yes.
in whippersnappers. I'm gonna show you how to be Sonic the Hedgehog.
Raisin whips away!
And I'm gonna throw controversy. I actually don't like Dixie.
Really?
I don't. I hate Dixie.
Like as a character or as...
Not as the character, as the gameplay, her game mechanic, because she floats in the air. She is a lifesaver, don't get me wrong. But you trade in horizontal speed for height. And I'm a person that likes to speedrun stages in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze specifically. So, and also sometimes jumps that you think can make with Dixie, at least to my gameplay, sometimes you barely just not make it because you don't get the speed.
Right.
Oh, right, okay, so she doesn't cover enough distance like Diddy does.
She covers height, but covers distance. Her distance, I believe, is just a slight bit less than Diddy.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, if you do a roll. But it can make all the difference, in my opinion, which is why, personally, it's my least favorite.
Diddy covers more distance, whereas Dixie covers more altitude.
Yes.
Right.
And
That
although,
makes-
yes,
that makes-
people
yeah.
people will say, "Oh, you heathen," I do respect people who like Dixie. Okay, I just personally I don't like her. Just
No,
because
yeah, that makes sense. I imagine Dixie would probably be better for vertical stages rather than stages where you're required to speedrun normally.
Yeah,
Plus
and it's like,
go on.
She'd be much better in that area where the level design is more vertical.
And she'd be more geared towards beginner players rather than more so expert speedrunner players that Diddy and Cranky introduced.
yeah, my favorite's Cranky. So
You can guess.
Which is completely understandable, DuckTales, and not only DuckTales, just the fact that Cranky's fun.
So you can probably guess what Camp Mello is in.
Yep. For me, I'd say my favorite would probably be Diddy, just because of the fact that he's just one of those. I don't know. I know it sounds kind of like a generic answer, like your typical. Oh yeah, I like Diddy Kong. It's not. Oh, I like Dixie. I mean, I like all of them as characters, but Diddy, I think Diddy's great.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, though, I think I'm with Mello on this one. I love playing with Cranky.
No doubt.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, in terms of like yeah, that's pretty much most of the major changes because with the additions of Dixie and Cranky, the level design has been changed up a little bit. Granted, this is still Donkey Kong Country at its core, and because Retro did a lot of changes from DKC 3 over to Returns. Though thankfully, a lot of the changes that Returns got wasn't really. They didn't do a lot more changing in Tropical Freeze. Y'all know the phrase, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's exactly what Tropical Freeze does. Rather, it improves upon it.
Yes. For example, in the barrel and the minecart stages, you have 2 hearts instead of 1. First of all, it's just significantly better. And one other thing that they did add is the addition of what I call them compound moves, where you collect enough bananas, and you have, I believe, on the HUD, you will see like a yellow meter. If you press L and R at the same time, you do a move depending on what character you get. Diddy is extra lives, Cranky is banana coins, and Dixie is the best for this. You get additional hit points, you get yellow hearts that can go on top of the normal red ones. So she's basically a good for life saving, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
And yeah, pretty much that. Like, again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Tropical Freeze takes what Returns already had and it just molds it into something that I feel is truly unlike any other game. And whatever, and a little plug right here. I mentioned this in my Swirly cast all about Tropical Freeze, but when I say that this game is one of my favorite 2D platformers ever, I do not say that lightly. I adore Tropical Freeze to its core, and I think that has to do with its level design and how dynamic and awesome it is.
Although not my favorite as much as you do like it, it is up there for one of the top platformers that I've played. So,
hey,
it's like top 10. It's top 10 to me.
It's a shame I can't say the same because I haven't gotten through Tropical Freeze enough to make a proper judgment on it.
And we will. And behind the scenes, we are going to force Mirage to do that.
We are.
Yeah.
Shove down his throat.
Yeah. But I promise you, I will get around to playing Tropical Freeze and actually beat it. Unfortunately, though, I do not have a copy of the Switch release of Tropical Freeze, and rather the older, original Wii U release. So,
thankfully, really the only thing you're missing with that version is Funky Kong, so you're probably not missing much.
Yeah, I figured as much. I don't really see the point of getting the Switch release anyway. But
I just got it because I don't have it, so I just
yeah. There really isn't much a reason to. If you already have the Wii U game, there really isn't much a reason to upgrade unless you just want it on the Switch. Unlike DKC, Donkey Kong, unlike Returns 3D, where there was actually bonus content added to that version, there really isn't much for Tropical Freeze on Switch aside from, Funky Kong.
Actually, speaking of Funky Kong, I feel like we should cover him at least a little bit because he's another playable character.
Yeah. I got you covered.
Funky Kong is basically the easy mode of Tropical Freeze.
Yeah.
He can use his surfboard to be He can use his surfboard as a way to be completely immune to spikes, just like how Cranky Kong's Pogo Cane is also immune to spikes. He's completely immune to spikes with his little surfboard. He can also use it to hover, I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
in a way.
And he also has
he-
5 hearts.
Yes, literally 5 hearts, so he's a tank.
So yeah,
So he's basically the easy mode of the game.
Funky mode, Funky Kong is it's pretty much just a mode to bring in newcomers. But if I were, unless you like really aren't experienced with platforming games, which I probably wouldn't recommend DKC as your first one because it's a pretty hard game. But
Well, I would not recommend Returns, but I would recommend Tropical Freeze because of Funky Kong.
yeah. That is
Since
true.
he's the easy mode of the game.
I was talking like in general. It's not a series I would
Oh,
recommend
yeah.
to any first-time platformer players. But
Yeah, but if you want to get into the series and you want to like get good at it, I recommend starting out with Tropical Freeze, the Switch release, and playing as Funky Kong
yeah,
first thing.
and so yeah, that's pretty much the differences between the two versions. But I think it's time we kick things over to Mello so that we can talk about some juicy beta and content and Easter eggs in the game.
Well, what I was gonna say, it's not beta, but one thing that is different from Returns, David Wise came back to compose this game.
And David Wise,
Is a god.
I can marry this man. David
For
Wise.
those who don't, I was gonna say, for those who don't know who David Wise is the person that composed music for the original Donkey Kong Country. I think he also composed the music for 2, possibly 3. I'm not sure about 3.
He composed some for 3, but not all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe he also might have composed music for Banjo-Kazooie as well.
That was Grant Cook.
No, that was Grant.
Oh, oops, Grant Kirkhope. Yeah, I got the two mixed up. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also composed Ukulele in the Evil Lair.
Okay, yeah, I got mixed up. All right.
Yeah, and he also did Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, so that's
He
cool.
Oh, did he? Oh, I didn't know that
did.
one. Huh.
But he came back to compose this game, and his soundtracks are amazing.
Yeah, David Wise is an
Indeed.
excellent composer. I can't.
Could not agree more.
My favorite.
My
track-
favorite.
Okay,
Sorry,
go.
go.
Go, Mel.
No, you go.
Okay, I was gonna say my favorite track in the game, Grassland Groove. Oh.
Yeah, I know that one. That one's one of my tops. One of my favorites as well is I forget what they call it. It's Savannah Symphony, a remix of Sticker Bush Symphony.
Oh yeah.
That one is also good. A lot of people apparently don't like the pan flute. I feel like to me that adds more to it.
Ooh.
And my favorite personally is Wingdings because there's so many variations of that similar song. You got the outside, the inside. You got in the cave, inside the clock tower, when the tower's getting destroyed. There's like so many versions of that song, and it's
wow.
It's breathtaking.
That is insane.
And it also has my favorite version of what's Aquatic Ambience. Has my favorite version of Aquatic Ambience as
This
well.
one is so good.
Yes.
Yeah, I
And
keep forgetting that
there's
remix
that-
Aquatic Ambience.
Yes.
That is a good track though.
So that's one thing that we shouldn't forget to mention is David Wise, him coming back to compose.
Oh
And
yeah,
I believe
absolutely not.
going back to it's actually like in beta content and stuff, it's kind of similar to it, where someone told David Wise, and I quote, "We want you to work with an old friend." And David Wise knew who he was talking about. I was like, you know what? I'm on board.
Wait, work with an old friend. Who might that be?
I wonder who.
I wonder.
I actually don't know who it is.
Probably David Smart. I don't know. Anyway,
But yeah,
thought we was talking about beta stuff now.
but yeah. In terms of like a notable Easter egg, there are Retro always seems to keep up with their awesome Easter egg knowledge. A pretty notable one is around the end of the game where you can actually see the original arcade Donkey Kong, and I think he's holding a Switch in the Switch version. And also,
Yes, he is.
during the idle animations, this actually differs between the versions. It's not a major difference, but it is a difference. If you're playing the Wii U version, Donkey and whoever is his partner, will bust out a Nintendo 3DS and probably play some like Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D.
Yep, I believe it includes Donkey Kong Country Returns for the 3DS, Super Mario 3D Land, Mario Kart 7, and he actually plays as himself as Donkey Kong, and he even plays Animal Crossing.
Oh.
I wonder if Donkey Kong plays in Animal Crossing New Horizons.
In the Switch version, however, he only plays Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. He does not play Animal Crossing because as that did not come out yet at the time. But depending on what you idle animation, a character gets a different idle animation. For example, Diddy and Donkey played just two play together. With Dixie, she steals the Joy-Cons off of Donkey Kong to do the final hits on the boss.
Ooh.
And
Nice.
Frankie opens his newspaper, reading it, and Donkey is being generous. He's wanting to share. He wants to play the game with his old man, but Cranky says, "Nah," he keeps on reading his newspaper.
That's a shame.
But
Other Easter eggs. Oh, sorry, go on.
well, yeah, like I like cute details like that because like it's not something you would see in like pretty much any other game. So if I would have to trust anyone would like a retro styled game like Retro Studios. they're amazing and they know.
It is Retro Studios work on like the Metroid games, right?
Yes, they worked on Metroid Prime.
They're working on Prime 4.
And speaking of that, in 1B Busted Bayous, you can find Samus Aran's gunship in the background.
Which makes sense considering, like you said,
Yes.
they're Prime 4.
Yeah.
Which
We still don't know that much about.
No. All we do know is that it's still in development. That's all we know.
Literally it.
At the time of this recording this episode, by the way. So
Yep,
but,
and that's also the same, I believe, E3 that they announced for Zelda, if I remember correctly.
yes, for Breath of the Wild 2. But but
And there's
Couldn't
even more
agree more.
references as well.
Oh, are there?
They are. For example, in Funky's Flying By, he references Legend of Zelda, which is why I brought that topic up. Because he says, vehicle troubles, it's dangerous to go it alone. Take one of these when you hover around the shield item, which is a reference to the old man saying, it's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
in that
In World 1-1, in where the TVs are when you crash the plane, if you pound the ground, Donkey Kong Country Returns title theme, along with different versions of it, including the beta, the final, and the Japanese version, will play on the screens.
Really? Wait. Like the SNES original?
No, the Returns.
Oops. My
Yeah.
bad.
yeah. But
And even Returns gets a cameo as well. Another cameo in Crowded Caverns in 6-4 Blurry Fury, the rocket stage. You'll see a Squeakly, the big bat that chases you Returns, frozen in ice.
Oh yeah.
And one of my favorites, in 1-3, if you find a secret exit, you'll find a megaphone. If you pound the ground, the original title theme for Donkey Kong Country will play.
Oh, that's
yeah.
cool.
There's lots that we could go over, but of course we are limited by our time. But like,
There is
still,
many more references, but yeah.
There's probably a whole lot more references in this game than there are in Returns.
we don't want to
Yes.
spoil we don't want to spoil everything for you all today. But
Play the game!
just that's
Play the game and find them yourself.
yeah, or look them up online. Somebody's probably found them all by now. But yeah.
Oh, absolutely. They probably watched YouTube videos or something. But, anyways, with that being said, I think that covers just about everything in this episode. For those who enjoyed this Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze episode of the Saloon Podcast, stay tuned because we're going to be covering Splatoon next, along with Splatoon 2, but we're going to do Splatoon 1 first.
Mommy!
Anyways, until then, we'll see ya.
Take care.
That's still accurate.
Thank you,
And-
everybody.
And unlike last time, I do remember my catchphrase, Oscar Minor Wieners, and oh, banana.